Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. Just in case you haven't seen my message in the chat, we'll get started in about 5 minutes. I'm just waiting for a couple of our first few presenters to all join. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. So, good afternoon again, everyone. For those whom I haven't met, my name is Viwe and I'm the faculty's transformation coordinator. And today we have a very exciting webinar. We've got two benchmarks that we'll have presenters speaking on. So, we're going to have quite a few presentations. Just a brief introduction to the benchmarks. The first one is benchmark F, which speaks on community engagement, anchoring UCT in community. And then the second one is benchmark G, which is teaching and learning support, which speaks to decolonization, marginalization and accessibility within the curriculum. So We'll get right to it because, like I said, we've got quite a few people speaking today. The first department will be DHSC, and Busai will be presenting on behalf of them. So thank you so much.
Thanks, VOA, and thanks for the invitation. Can I just share my screen? Afternoon,
Yes.
everybody. Afternoon, colleagues. Um, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Good. So, VOA, a disclaimer. I must say that I don't think I need probably need just 10 minutes. Let me just show my face so that you know that I'm human. um, I think I misunderstood what I was expected to do this afternoon. Unfortunately, it only became clear to me very late yesterday. Why I said this is that I will not be presenting on the project that you referred to because um, we DHSC, our role is as we play the role of an advisor. So the owner of the project is the ideal person to present the project. So what I want to do instead this afternoon is talk in general about her role, and then perhaps highlight a couple of other projects in that class. And if you feel that perhaps in a later date you can reach out to those individuals to come and present those projects by themselves, maybe in your next round. So I am sorry about that. So what I will talk about is, as you see on my, can you see my slide?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So as I said, so it's going to be basically talking about DHSC role. I mean, which is an advising one in the ongoing Faculty of Health Sciences curriculum transformation. So DHSC is the Department of Health Sciences Education. And so the summary of it all, the faculty transformation uh, project that is ongoing currently, it's a UCDG project, which was a project. The proposal was actually submitted by by our former HOD, Professor Francois Sailors. And what happened was that was just before COVID. And then COVID hit. He was seconded to assist with the COVID treatment. And when the project began, when the Deputy Dean undergraduate, Karen Beggs, then stepped in to help implement the project. So the design of in terms of implementation, the meetings and all of that mostly happened at DHSC, where we met weekly to plan the whole thing and then implement last year in 2020. We started in 2021. Well, it was really took off properly in 2022. So the faculty transformation um, curriculum transformation project consists. We started with curriculum workshop for program conveners and head of departments. We had that was actually in a quarterly meeting. So there was a big workshop which brought together quite a whole lot of people. And from that initial meeting, decisions were made and to grant, I mean, the whole project was grounded on particular principles that the faculty aspire based on Senate provision. I mean, so for to see happening in the faculty, and some of those principles that the 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 entire group agreed upon were some of them. One of it was decolonization, and another one was social accountability. We had student centric, we had transformation, inter professional education and collaborative practice, professional attributes, and so on and so. There were quite, I think, about nine principles that the project was based on. And so from this principle, then we had there was the educational part of the project, an arm of the project apart from the workshop. The second big arm of it was the launching of the Educational Leadership Scholarship, which reached out to conveners and lecturer at cost level. That was at cost level. The workshop was at program level, headship level, and then the leadership was at cost level. Course convener were invited to participate, and they were bought out because there was funding to buy them out to be able to be part of the program. Because while the discussion was happening at program level, there was a need to have the cost level bottom up approach as well, to begin to actually have those see how individual cost convener can be part of this bigger initiative. And that's led to a call. We had in 2022, I think we had 30 um, we call them ELFs, Educational Leadership Scholars Fellowship. So, which we had 2022, we had 30 cohorts. And so coming in to that program, they each had to work with their course. And from all those principles that were agreed on, they were part of that workshop. So from whichever angle they wanted to, some went for the colonization, some were inter professional practice, depending, some social justice. Everybody picked where they were, and then they began to work with that within their curriculum. And then what the DHSC staff comes in is that the each elf was assigned an advisor. An advisor came from, most of the advisors were situated in DHSE. Karen was one of them as the deputy dean, but I think 90%, 99% was DHSE. So we were assigned elves based on their projects, and we provide advice. We guided the individuals based on the educational principle, applying educational principle to guide them in the development of their project. So the project is theirs, and which is why I cannot speak on those projects. So I hope you can invite them over later, some other time, and they can, present on those projects. And the projects are ongoing. Like I said, it started last year. A lot of them are still working on it. So as you know, it will take time. So here is some of the ELF projects for 2020, 22. So you have someone who was doing community development, looking at decolonizing community development, from CSD. And that was Genevieve and our colleague Chris. They were looking at working because they do a lot of their students are in the community, and they were looking at how to decolonize what they do in the community with their students from that angle. So that would be an interesting one to hear. And then we had there's a another person from OT, Isha Field. She was looking at his course in a course in OT, which is a mental health course, and looking at the course load, looking at the content, and the curriculum alignment in general. Currently, the way it was structured then, according was there was a need to relook at it, but from a decolonized lens as a whole, and that was what he worked on. I think that will be an interesting one to listen to in person as well. And then there's the third one is decolonizing graduate attributes, which was by Celeste. This is MBCHB. She was looking at, this was focused on ethics. And it was fascinating because she was asking questions around, these are ethics. When we do ethics here, we talk about Ubuntu, for example. There was nothing about Ubuntu in the ethics that we do in FHS, not at all. And so she was looking at it from those angle and really looking at how we can, so decolonizing basically the graduate attribute from that perspective. And then the one that you actually highlighted for this session was the decolonization of basic sciences, which was Zenda Woodman's project. And I think it's a brilliant project. For some of the ones I have spoken, I don't know. I saw Lakshini is here. She might want to, I don't know if she is, say one or two things about any of the projects because Lashini is very much invested in all of this. She, I believe, was the advisor for Celeste, if I'm right. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm right, Lashini. But for Zenda's project, for which the focus was for this afternoon, I would really also want to advise that Zenda be invited back and be invited in person to come and present on this. I believe it's ongoing. The project hasn't been concluded yet. So it will be interesting to hear. So in the DHSC, we are advisors on curriculum issues. So what we provide is work with each project uh, and advice from my educational principles to guide the curriculum renewal or change that they're looking for. And then currently we have 2023, we have a new cohort of health. So the 2022 concluded their fellowship at the end of the year, and now we have a new cohort. They're carrying on with their projects. Is Some of them are, a lot of the projects are ongoing. These are curriculum related work, so it takes time. And then the current cohort, I think we have 35, and you can imagine they're all also working within all those principles, and so the range is also very wide. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've done justice to this, but that is all I can say for now. So what I would really advise is that I actually put the name of those. So if you really do want them to come speak about it, just let me know, and I will reach out to them. If I had known earlier, I would have reached out to one of them to and see whether it was possible to come speak on their project. So yeah, that's it. Question, Lakshini, do you want to speak on anything? Chip in.
Thank you. No, I'll leave Karen to do that. Thanks,
Oh,
Bosaya.
yeah, okay. Karen is here too. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Karen can probably give input on all of them. but I would rather have the owners of the project to speak on them themselves. So my advice is that we invite them at a later date, and we can spread them across and get them to come present their project, whether at whatever stage they are. I don't know where they are currently. Yeah, so that's it. That's my short my talk. I'm open for question. If you have any question regarding what we do, how with regard to the DHSE role, I'm happy to take questions on that. Viwe, back
Thank you
to
so much, Messiah. I think we'll do questions and answers at the end of all the presentations because we have, I think, two or three more people to go.
you. Okay, I don't know.
So
Then maybe Karen, do you want to say anything about the project?
Karen is presenting. She's presenting last.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw her name here. I thought she was here.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
So unfortunately, the presenter from the Neuroscience Institute isn't able to make it today. So we're going to move on to a presentation from human biology. Ash, I don't know if you're ready.
Hi, viewer. Hi, everyone. I'll just share my screen.
Thank you so much.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. Good day, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to present on the Teachers Workshop Initiative. This initiative was born out of the Division of Cell Biology and later expanded to involve all divisions within the Department of Human Biology and is hosted here at the Anatomy Building. The workshop was initiated in 2018 and is a social responsiveness engagement between the Department of Human Biology and the Western Cape Department of Education, which forms part of the WCED's Teachers Upskilling Program. 2023 marks Human Biology's 5th Teachers Workshop, usually scheduled towards the end of July when teachers return from school holiday and coincides with our exam break. The workshop, which has now become an annual departmental event, is organized in collaboration with the WCT and has been building relationships between human biology staff, postgraduate students, and teachers from poorly resourced schools in the Western Cape since its inception in 2018. The Teachers Workshop has two main goals. First, we hope that these workshops would provide teachers with the tools needed to conduct simple, inexpensive experiments in the classrooms that would inspire students to pursue careers in science. Secondly, by participating in this initiative, staff in human biology would gain insight into how the science curriculum is taught in secondary schools, which would aid us in developing better teaching and learning strategies for first-year students from under-resourced schools. The program is based on the life sciences curriculum from grades 9 through to 12 and also covers concepts that our lecturers have observed first-year students struggle with. Academic, PAS, postdoctoral fellows, and postgrad students in human biology across 4 divisions plan and oversee the sessions, which are designed to be interactive and to illustrate activity-based experiments and models that might easily be replicated in the classroom, utilizing affordable and readily available resources. Sorry. Since the inception of the initiative, we have interacted with over 100 teachers from all over the Western Cape. This map illustrates the schools across the various districts we have interacted with and also excludes the Eastern Cape Department of Education officials who have participated in the workshop in 2021. The workshops have been advantageous since it offers a forum for discussion on best teaching practices at the secondary and tertiary levels, and the collaboration with the WCED has really improved our interaction with neighborhood schools. This initiative aims at enhancing the knowledge of our academics with respect to the school curriculum, to increase the university's engagement with local schools and the WCED, and to showcase science practical experiments with minimal and everyday material, since many of these schools may not have well-resourced science laboratories. The workshop program is based on the, as I've mentioned before, 9 to 12 life science curriculum, and thus experiments are aligned with the national curriculum and assessment policy statement, and takes into consideration concepts that lecturers have found first year students struggle with. So the workshop format, some past experiments features themes on microscopy, epidemiology, laboratory safety and management, osmosis, pH, cardiophysiology, and biological catalysts, to name a few. Each teacher receives a practical manual created by human biology, a foldscope, which is a paper microscope that can be used to examine microscopic samples, and a practical biology textbook, all of which can be used as resources in the classrooms. This year, we also handed over models of the heart, which teachers are able to use in the classrooms. As previously mentioned, practical teaching is based on the CAPS curriculum for life sciences, which focuses on a range of skills which include following instructions, handling equipment and apparatus, systematic and careful observations, generating and recording data, quantifying and interpreting data, and designing investigations for experiments. During lockdown, we did not want to lose momentum and decided to present the workshop in an online format. And to achieve this, we created resource kits, which contain the necessary materials for each teacher to follow along and carry out experiments remotely. The kits were delivered to our WCED liaison, who then ensured that the resource kits were delivered to the teachers. The outcomes of this initiative were creating awareness and familiarity of high school science teachers with UCT. This also influences the teaching and learning activities that we introduced into the design of UCT's anatomy and physiology curricula. The divisions produced a comprehensive booklet in consultation with the Deputy Chief Education Specialist for life sciences and agricultural subjects from the WCED, outlining the experiments, learning objectives, and additional resources that teachers could use in their classrooms. We've assessed workshop outcomes by means of a questionnaire. The focus of the questionnaire was whether experiments presented enhanced the overall teaching and learning experience, and whether the practical-based experiments complemented the theoretical components of teachers' lessons. So the WCE team writes the following. Specific aim 2, investigating phenomena in the life science CAPS document, states that learners must be able to plan and carry out investigations, as well as solve problems that require practical ability. The skills relate to doing practical work in life sciences. The skills are aligned to what learners would be doing in the normal course of carrying out an investigation. The UCT Practical Skills Workshop had a profound impact on teachers and addressed the skills listed in the CAPS. The workshop provided teachers with opportunities to learn and practice new teaching techniques. Teachers gained practical knowledge and hands-on experience in the use of foldscope microscopes, respiratory system models, enzyme activity experiments, etc., which could enhance teaching effectiveness and learner engagement. Teachers felt more equipped to address different learning styles and challenges in the classroom, leading to increased self-assurance in their teaching practices. The workshop also exposed teachers to the latest research. The workshop provided a platform for teachers to collaborate and share experiences with their colleagues. They could exchange the skills. They could exchange ideas, discuss challenges, and learn from one another's successes. Knowledge and skills gained at the workshop allow teachers to promote active participation, critical thinking, and a deep understanding of the subject matter in the classroom that can lead to improved learner performance. Teachers found the workshop to be useful and informative, the content to be pitched at an appropriate level, as well as the amount of content to be appropriate. All teachers intended to discuss the workshop with learners and their colleagues, and all planned on incorporating the workshop experiments in their annual teaching. Majority mentioned that they would use the resources for grades 9 through 12 and expressed that the workshop experiments would enhance overall teaching and learning, and that the practical-based experience would complement components of their lesson. And on the screen now are just a few notes on feedback from the teachers. So I'd just like to acknowledge our WCED liaison, Mr. Jean Goliath, the WCED Life Sciences Subject Advisors, Western Cape educators, hub staff, and postgraduate students. And I would just like to end off with a short video, which was created by a postdoctoral fellow, Arul. Let me just stop sharing.
Ash, I'm not sure if the video is meant to have sound, but we can't hear.
Yeah, there should be sound. Just see. Are you able to hear now?
No. So when you share on Teams, just make sure you say share with audio. So you say include computer sound. It should be on the top right once you click share.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Ash, are you still trying to share?
Sorry,
Are you still trying to share the video?
is it not playing?
No, I think you forgot to click share screen.
Okay. Let's try this again.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I'll end the video here. Sorry for the break in transmission. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Ash, for that very informative presentation, and well done on the amazing work that you're doing in your department. So we'll move on now to psychiatry and mental health, and Claire will be presenting for that department. Thank you so much, Claire.
Thanks, Viwe. And hi, everyone. I'm switching my camera on just to say hi. All right, now I'm also going to share with sound. Okay, I'm assuming that you can see my screen and that someone will stop me if you can't. Right, so thanks again, Viwe, and thanks to the Faculty Transformation Committee. Thank you that we can present and share some of our highlights. This has very much been a collaborative effort, so be prepared for some video content. Most of my colleagues are actually in schools for fieldwork this week. So I just want to give you a quick overview of what you're in for. I'm going to tell you quickly about our centre, and then I'm going to look at teaching and learning support and Project Arise. And after that, I'm going to look at the community engagement side, and we're going to look at the training, the mind training, and we're also going to look at the youth development team, which is our centre advisory group. And this team informed work on quite a few projects, including Project Alive and hashtag FTM and Ease South Africa. So just quickly, our centre is a joint centre between the Department of Psychiatry and Mental Health at UCT and the Psychology Department at Stellenbosch University. And the vision of the centre is to be a collaborative multidisciplinary centre that conducts high quality research on public mental health and uses evidence for teaching, consultancy and advocacy to promote mental health in Africa. So to do this, we look at capacity building, we obviously do our research, we also advocate for inclusion of mental health and health policy and services, and we provide advisory services as well. We're a URC accredited research centre, and we've also been a WHO collaborating centre since 2014. So I just thought I need to contextualize what we do. I'm going to talk about a few of these projects in a bit, but I just want to show our 4 research pillars. We have an overarching kind of themes of mental health across the lifespan and integrating mental health into other services. But the main pillars that we work on are the social determinants of mental health policy and services, measurement, as well as interventions. And here are the projects I'm going to touch on. You can see Project Arise is floating at the bottom because it is a capacity building enterprise that kind of covers all these pillars. So I'm going to talk about our teaching and learning support, and engaging communities in research is kind of part of what we do in all these projects. And I'm going to pay particular attention to our youth development team. So at CPMH, we really think about capacity building and a learning environment within our whole system. And this is a culture and a system that has really been built up over time by many people. And we like to think of placing our fellows and our students and our staff within the broader field of global mental health and exposing them to networks within the field internationally. We also think about, I've got Arise here twice, I meant to have Amari as well. We also think about connecting them to African networks, people who are working on public mental health in Africa, and these are capacity building links. So we really want to expose them to people in the field. And then obviously within our institution, we have access to amazing institutional resources and people around us, there's supervisors, and we tend to mentor each other and sort of do peer mentoring informally, as well as we really believe in mentoring our students as well as supervising their research. And we also believe in helping our fellows and staff develop their academic careers by providing opportunities such as teaching opportunities. And we are really lucky in our centre to have a number of role models and kind of a, as I said, informal peer mentoring that goes on, which is really helpful for development. And we often say it takes a village to raise a child, but it certainly takes a system to raise an academic and a researcher. But although we have the system in place and we try and see it from this kind of broad angle as well as on the individual level, there was a bit of a gap in our system, particularly regarding the pipeline to master's and PhD level training. So how do we get people into our system? And there really seemed to be a bit of a gap. So when we think about the pipeline, we've seen an increased demand for public mental health training. So that's the demand. And then we have a master's program and we have PhD programs. But there is a gap there. So in our experience, 20% of our master's applicants do not have the qualifications that they need to take on a master's degree. And if they do have a 4-year bachelor's or an honours degree, many of them really lack the research experience and skills. And we also have a lot of inquiries from people who don't necessarily want to do master's or PhD level research, but they do want to understand public mental health and research, and they want to be able to understand and use available evidence in their jobs. So we really feel like there's a gap. So we conceptualized the PG DIP as a program that can complete this pipeline, and that we can either help people gain the knowledge and skills that they need to go out and use. And then there's a lot of people who do want to use the PG DIP as a stepping stone to further postgraduate study. So this brings us to Project Arise, within which our PG DIP has been developed. So this African Mental Health Researchers Inspired and Equipped program is a Fogarty International D43 funded program. And when it comes to our principles, we believe that our PG DIP and our capacity building efforts should be Africa focused, but globally informed, and should be accessible as widely as possible. And we also have a strong diversity and inclusivity lens. And when we say that, we talk about the faculty who do the teaching. So we really think about who does the teaching and who is involved. And we also think about diversity and inclusivity within our student body. And then we also think about the perspectives and what we actually teach, so the content. So we recruited a diverse faculty right at the start of this program with regard to nationality, ethnicity, discipline, and level of experience. So we have 5 countries represented: Ghana, Malawi, Nigeria, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. And the disciplines that we have within the faculty are lived experience expertise, psychiatry, health psychology, clinical psychology, research psychology, nursing, physiotherapy, family medicine, public health, traditional healing, and social work. And we also include our PhD fellows on the project as teachers and mentors. So our faculty, we have Principal Investigator, Prof. Catherine Silsel from UCT, and Prof. Ashraf Kaji from the Stellenbosch side. And then we have Rizwana Rumani from Stellenbosch and myself as part of the core team. And we also included a lecturer post in this grant, designed for someone who wants to develop their skills and develop their academic CV. And we are so grateful to have Shahima Ali join our team, and she is running with our PGDIP program. Then our colleague Sangala Mobo is a vital part of the RISE team. She deals with postgrad admin, assists the selection of students and other administrative matters. And we also have our 2 PhD fellows, Nama Mashani and Claudia Swinney. And they also are keen to stay in academia and develop their academic skills while they work on their PhD research. So ARISE, I'm going to focus on the PGDIP for this presentation, but part of the ARISE project, part of one of the objectives is to deliver and evaluate the distance learning or hybrid postgraduate diploma. We include masters and PhD fellows. We're also looking at sort of beyond the students, we're looking at distance learning, teaching and mentoring skills and postgraduate supervision skills within our African network of institutions. And we're also looking at short courses for policymakers and NGO staff, etc. But as I said, I'm going to focus on the PGDIP. So I want to talk a little bit about our class of 2023. They are our first class, and they hail from the Gambia, Nigeria, Kenya, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. And within the group, we have a psychiatrist, a registered counselor, occupational therapist, an Anglican priest or reverend, a counselor, a social worker, and an NGO project manager. So we really do have a diverse, lovely bunch. And this is most of the group enjoying the sunshine at the beginning of the year during their orientation block. So we bring our students, our MPhil students as well, but our PGDIP students for the first time this year, we bring everyone to Cape Town. It's a 2-week orientation block. They get to meet each other, form a group bond, learn about each other's countries, disciplines, perspectives, and they explore the UCT and Stellenbosch campuses. We unfortunately had to have a bit of a hybrid approach this year because 2 of our students had visa issues. So we tried to link them in remotely so they didn't miss out too much. So just to give you an idea of the postgraduate diploma, it's a 1-year diploma. We have Introduction to Public Mental Health, Research Methodology, Mental Health Epi, and Interventions for Mental Health. And we have a few cross-cutting themes, including research integrity, which includes from research ethics right to kind of the ethics of partnerships and power dynamics between communities and researchers or institutions in different countries and funders, etc. We also have culture and context, which really runs across each of these courses. And we have included other competencies. These are academic writing, communication skills and advocacy skills, critical review skills. We have some leadership and teamwork coming up, which I'm excited about. And we've also addressed time management, and we include some self-care skills in here as well. Okay, I think I'm supposed to hand over to Shima, and I think I actually went on a bit long. Shima, I'm so sorry. Would you like to take over from here?
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. So I just want to say hi to everybody, and I apologize in advance if there's noise. I'm working from Durban today. But Claire, thank you for going through that. Yeah, so the delivery of the PG DIP is a very interesting approach. So we are one of the first to put our PG DIP onto the Amatuba platform, and that is the new Vula site. So Claire, I think if you can just click for us on the presentation. There we go. So I'm just showing you some examples of how the platform looks, and I think it's such a great upgrade from Vula. It's quite interactive. As you can see, that's our Introduction to Public Mental Health course online. So students can work on this platform via the website or via the Pulse app, so they can access it via their phone as well. And so the delivery on this course is within each module, we've got lecture videos, which are about 10 to 15 minutes each. And you can see how nicely it's laid out. So students can just click on the various topics, and within that you will find the lecture videos, the readings, and the activities. So the activities are made up of some discussion posts. So there's some asynchronous activities which students can go and answer and work on by themselves in their own time. And then we also have some synchronous discussions. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we have live sessions with them for 2 hours. So yeah, if you can just go one back, sorry, Claire. So charms that we've just shown you, that is one of our characters that we created, and they are with our students throughout the course, sharing their experiences and then giving students also an opportunity to see what others are asking around research within their countries and the different types of questions and also challenges that they might come across. Okay, then we can move a bit forward. This is just one of the asynchronous activities, which is a Padlet post. So we've asked them to choose a topic on mental health for Mental Health Week. And you can see on this Padlet post, students can get very creative. So you can add pictures, you can add videos, you can share resources, you can share links, and it's quite engaging and interacting, and students can go in and also comment on other people's posts. So the delivery of this is, as I said, this is one of our live sessions. So every Tuesday we have a lecture on the topic at hand for that module for that week. And on a Thursday we have office hours. So it gives the students an opportunity to touch base with the lecturers, with the content, with each other. And it also gives them an opportunity to also just sit and work on the content. Because they are all working full time, it can be a challenge for them to balance work, study activities. And so these office hour sessions are a great way for us to link up and to also give them an opportunity. The Amatuba website has been it's been designed with the SALT team, and so they've been really great. I need to shout out to Nadine Hammond and Andrew Deacon. They've been really amazing in helping us to develop the course and to take a universal design for learning approach. And so we've learned quite a lot from them, especially around accessibility. So when we create the content on Amatuba, they also go in and check that it's accessible and that people who have some challenges with visual things, they can at least hear that our recordings play, and those and we also, and they basically just checking accessibility with our design. So it is quite the design is quite responsive also to a variety of cultures and communication styles. In the class we try to keep things quite diverse with the readings, discussions, um, and hear from the different African countries. Yeah, we can just move one on. So let's just listen to, these are two of our current students, and they're going to share some of their experiences around what this PG tip means for them.
Hi, my name is Natalie Ndarambi, and I'm currently part of the PG DIP in Public Mental Health program. I'm happy to have received this opportunity to be part of this program because it has been extremely beneficial. This program has not only expanded my knowledge on mental health, but it has provided me with practical skills that I've been able to apply to my professional work. I've learned the importance of using collaboration as a tool to improve the accessibility and availability of mental health services in my community. This program has also provided me with research and analytical skills, which are essential in evaluating mental health policies and interventions. Most importantly, this program has allowed me to network with individuals across Africa, allowing us to merge ideas and solutions on how to address mental health problems in our various countries. I am passionate about prioritizing marginalized groups who are particularly vulnerable to mental health problems. This has inspired my research to focus on sexual minorities in Zimbabwe and the mental health problems that they face, as they are more likely to experience high levels of discrimination, violence, and stigma. Through these findings, I hope that service providers and organizations can begin to prioritize the mental health needs of this population. Lastly, I would like to thank and appreciate the lecturers and the course coordinators for the great support that they have provided for us throughout the program. They have been able to address any issues and technical difficulties swiftly, and it has just been such a delight working with them. I hope that more people will have the same opportunity as me to learn more about mental health and create a positive impact in their communities. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Warren Cornelius, and I'm a postgraduate diploma in public mental health student at the University of Cape Town. This postgraduate diploma has really been like a camera lens, allowing me to zoom into the factors and determinants of my own lived experience with substance use disorders, but also the lived experience of people living in the communities, in the underserved communities in which I live and work. It's also allowed me to zoom out and see like from a broader perspective and seeing how these determinants and factors um, play a role in like community level or population level. So yeah, for work, I'll be rolling out the Colombo Plan's Universal Recovery Curriculum to community leaders who are really at the forefront, who's the first point of call for families of people living with substance use disorders. And so my research is really about um, exploring perceptions of these community leaders towards the proposed recovery curriculum, the Colombo Plan recovery curriculum, and also the facilitators and barriers towards implementation in the South African context. So as you can hear, I'm not a conventional student, and I really learn by engaging with content and lecturers as well. So I wouldn't have come this far. I wouldn't have been able to do this diploma of public mental health without the accessibility and help of and the assistance of the team, the PG DIP team. So yeah, thank you to them and thank you to all of you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Claire. I'll hand over back to you.
Thanks so much, Shima. And I'm sorry, everyone, I had a note in front of me to stop and hand over to Shima. And I'm really sorry you missed out. You can hear she's got a lovely, relaxed, engaging style. And she really keeps our students calm and informed and happy. So thanks, Shima.
No problem.
Okay.
Hi.
Right. So the community engagement part, I just quickly wanted to say within our centre, we have community engagement happens within our research projects and advisory groups. I think as many people do, it's kind of a part of our general operation, and particularly our intervention projects, which have been using a human-centered design approach to co-create or co-adapt interventions with people who actually could be using these services. So that's one aspect, and we generally collaborate with stakeholders, either NGO, Department of Health stakeholders, right from the start when we're designing a project and when we're working towards doing the research or implementation, etc. But I want to touch quickly on the training and support, and then the youth development team and the projects the youth development team has been involved in. So just quickly, a good example of our training is the implementation and rollout of Project Mind. This project actually started in 2010 with conversation with the Western Cape Department of Health, and a collaboration evolved, led to research, it just gathered momentum, and the Project Mind counselling program has since been used for unhealthy substance use and depression in various settings, and has also been adapted for adolescents. So since this intervention has been tested and found to be effective, we are making the intervention materials open access. And our team has conducted a few training workshops. And these workshops include didactic teaching, a lot of discussion and role play. And we trained community organizations, a student society, and also registered counsellors for the Department of Health. And here are two of our amazing trainers. There's UJ Jacobs, who's actually now working for the Department of Health. So, but we still see him from time to time. And bottom right, we have Megan Poole, with a lot of the counsellors that she's trained, and Megan is still with us and doing her PhD at the moment. Okay, so I want to move on to the youth development team, and the YDT, this initiative is funded by the Sue Initiative. So many thanks to the SSI for making this possible. And I wanted to quickly show you the team who's involved in the running of the youth development team. So we have Azola Sibonda, who's the Youth Liaison Officer. You're going to hear from him in a little bit. Miriam Kiza is a clinical social worker and one of our PhD fellows. Chesney Ward-Smith is a clinical psychologist and also a PhD fellow with us. Dr. Roxanne Jacobs is the Alive Research Officer. And Gillian Hanslow is our Senior Administrator, who's been amazing with the YDT initiative. So Chesney is now going to tell us about the youth development team.
The youth development team, which is essentially an adolescent advisory group. And essentially we've kind of brought together a whole bunch of adolescents from different backgrounds in and around Cape Town, different ages, I think between the ages of 10 and 19. And the idea is really to bring them together and, for lack of a less corny phrase, to give teenagers a voice in this mental health research space, because in the past it really has been negated. Yeah, so that's the idea, is to allow a space, foster a space for adolescents to voice their opinions and ideas and give their insights into adolescent mental health programs and how they run and how they work and what doesn't work and what does work. Yeah, so that is a little bit of a brief snapshot. And yeah, just in terms of the YDT, I think it's also important to note that it is a collaboration. So in as much as we are asking them for their ideas and their insights into the mental health programs, the group is also about capacity building. So it lasts, the whole kind of group has a long-term outlook to it. So it's going to take place for at least 4 years. It's been running for about a year, I think. And yeah, so the idea is that they also get something out of it. We go on outings, we do kind of workshops on topics that they choose and that they want to be engaged with and learn more about. Yeah, so just to kind of bring in that perspective as well, that it is a collaboration. All right. Thank you. Bye. The youth.
Okay, and a key part of the team is our youth liaison officer, Azola, who also has a little bit to say.
Hi everyone, my name is Azola Sibonda, the Youth Liaison Officer, and I serve as a group coordinator for YDT. I have some background work on youth mental health interventions. Since 2019, I've been working with Ways for Change up until I met this amazing group called YDT. I serve the role understanding the importance of the young people, having myself as somebody that they can relate to and who can facilitate communication between the CPMH researchers and the YDT. I think uh, my role really makes things easier for everyone involved in the process, and I've been learning a lot. So we basically keep the group young and active by integrating a lot of fun activities and physical activities as well into the the content that we teach on our workshops. And the kids have been really enjoying it as they suggested as well. So everyone has been happy with how things are going at the moment, even though we've been facing some few challenges. But of course, this is research and we expected to face a lot of challenges, but everyone is learning through the process. And I think so far everything has been so good, and I'm feeling so happy and blessed to be part of the group. Thank you so much.
So that was Azola, who's really a live wire and gets everybody moving and driving away in the sessions. So I just quickly wanted to outline the recruitment processes for the YDT. Is we advertised and we asked people to apply. So adolescents sent in voice notes and artwork and essays and videos and asked, why they're interested in mental health, why is it important to them? And so we chose a group of adolescents and we sent them acceptance letters. And then we really set it out very clearly what we expected of them, and right from the start, so that they understood what would be happening. In the sessions, we have free time socializing and icebreakers and games, which are a really important part of engaging and getting everybody warmed up. And then we have content sessions about mental health and advocacy. The group choose topics they want to talk about. And then we have individual project breakout groups where our research project at CPMH ask the young people for some input. And of course, fun times, photos, treats and goodbyes generally involves ice cream or cupcakes or something. So during the sessions, we do a lot of art-based activities and the kids really give us great feedback in that way. Group-based and peer-led activities and competitions, and also play-based. We really try and keep things fun. So the young people have really taken ownership of the group. They are excited to come to the sessions, which are on Saturdays. They develop their own logo. That's the lift as you rise, and their logo there, which is now on hoodies as well. They make decisions together about their name tags, and they decided on the group name themselves, the group logo and slogan. As I said, the hoodies, and they've also, this is their outing to the aquarium, so they've also chosen outings together. So the young people have really helped us and changed and shaped our content for contextual and cultural relevance and appropriateness, and also age appropriateness. So we do have young ones, sort of 12, 13, 14, that generally come together in a group to give input on certain content. And then we have the older ones, the 15 to 19. And they've really helped us understand the way they see things. And we've got comics and posters and videos and all sorts of things that they've given great input into. And they've also helped improve our logistics. So I have some YDT voices, but I know we are running out of time, so I'm going to skip through. So we had two young people telling us what YDT meant to them, and I really wanted to play it to you, but I'm thinking our time is coming to an end.
Sorry, Claire, you're more than welcome to play the videos.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. I'm Sarah Solomon. When I think about YDT, I think about having fun and helping others. It has meant giving back to my community similarly to how others have helped me. I've learned that my voice holds power and that no matter the background, everyone holds the right to an opinion. YDT has helped me improve my self-confidence and social skills. YDT is important because it raises awareness on the importance of good mental well-being in our youth. It has reminded me why it is important to show kindness and empathy. It provides youth with an opportunity and a platform to provide insight on the betterment of our youth. Thank you.
What I've learned is how to get past through certain obstacles of life and challenges we will face in the future and things like that. Like it's just helping, like it's not sort of like a social worker thing, but it's more like where we get together and work things. And yeah, I've learned like working together as people and doing and learning, yeah, in general. And why is it so important? It's so important to me because it teaches me the values and the things and how things are supposed to be. And I've learned a lot, I've gained a lot, and that's why it's so important. It means a lot to me.
Okay, great. See, we have very different characters involved. I think I really felt like I was in conversation with this young guy now. So just briefly, the projects that they have contributed to. Miriam's project, which is testing the feasibility and acceptability of the World Health Organization Early Adolescent Skills for Emotions program for young adolescents at risk for depression and anxiety. And these young people's parents have also given us input on the caregiver component. And then Chesney's is testing the feasibility and acceptability of an emotion regulation and physical activity program. So Chesney's focused on 15 to 18-year-olds and Miriam on 10 to 14-year-olds. And they've done sessions at schools that have run over 7 weeks, and they've just actually finished with that phase. So it's very exciting. That's why they're collecting data in schools.
Moving on to collaboration with the community, we have partnered with 3 main community organizations for our research projects, and these include Community Keeper Organization, Student for Better Future, and Empilweni, who have helped us gain entry and access to schools, as well as support with the participant recruitment process for our.
Sorry, that was a bit abruptly cut off, but that was Miriam talking about the community collaboration. And the last point I'm going to make is Project Alive, which is a Wellcome Trust funded 5-year grant, which aims to develop and pilot test an intervention that addresses poverty and strengthens self-regulation among adolescents living in urban poverty in 3 countries, Colombia, Nepal, and South Africa. And the aim of this project is to prevent depression and anxiety. So they are working with Ways for Change, and the South African side is collaborating with them here. Ways for Change is the implementing partner for the intervention, and they're an NGO that work with vulnerable youth with a strong focus on mental health, and there's a lot of surfing and fun involved as well. They're an amazing, really well-established organization. And so the YDT have also been giving input into the Alive project and how they're going to go about the cash transfers and various aspects of the project, as well as the intervention in the future. So thank you everyone for listening. That's all we've got from our side.
Thank you so much, Claire, for that creative and very engaging presentation. We'll swiftly move on to the presentation from the deanery side, and Karen will be presenting today. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks, everybody. Afternoon, and sorry for joining a little late because I was sitting in another meeting, but sounds like it's been a really good engagement thus far. Thanks, Claire, for a great presentation. So I'm sharing the Educational Leadership Fellowship, who I've been asked to share that today. And I think that Basayo actually shared a little bit about it, so I hope I'm not going to be duplicating anything. So just let me know if I am. Right, should be sharing now. It's just loading. So ELF, the Educational Leadership Fellowship, is the faculty development component of the curriculum transformation process that we've undergone. So it's essentially, we designed it for developing educational leaders to enhance curriculum design. The context and rationale is really broad, and I won't go into this in detail, but suffice to say that we've got significant challenges in South Africa, in our health system. DHET has a policy framework around enhancing academics as university teachers that this fits into very nicely, as well as the University Capacity Development Grant. So we were able to leverage that to be able to meet the needs of South Africa Health System, UCT, and then really understanding that our curriculum across particularly NBCHB haven't been renewed for quite some time. And we don't really believe that it's meeting our student needs in terms of our social determinants of learning. And so our curriculum change or transformation initiatives are underway. We recognize that, that we still have significant numbers of students who are at risk of interrupted progress and have performance gaps that we're not quite closing. And then recognizing that our academics are the crucial nexus between students and the curriculum, but they are not experts in curriculum design. So, of course, that was all significantly exacerbated by COVID. So literature-wise, we know that faculty development interventions tend to focus on upskilling and teaching, learning and assessment, but and that's the same for us. So, but very limited upskilling other than informal qualifications in meaningful curriculum design. We also know that leadership development, which is an area that I come from, prioritizes skills and competences for service delivery rather than for educational settings. And so there are limited evidence of interventions for what we were planning, which was focusing on educational leadership in health professions education, and particularly in low to middle income countries. And we certainly were not able to find any literature focusing on Africa. So, but we also know that when we focus on faculty development interventions, that the literature tells us that there's improved outcomes for what's called intensive longitudinal programs. That I guess it's no surprise that in the undergraduate curriculum space as well, that also we see the literature telling us that longitudinal integrated clerkships or programs are also show better outcomes than block or other types of curricular shaping. So we developed the Educational Leadership Fellowship with the colleagues in DHSE as an intra-institutional intensive longitudinal faculty development program. So most intensive longitudinal programs that are often quoted in the literature are often open applicants, so people come from multiple institutions. So this, we were really focusing on it being within the institution for a number of reasons. So we wanted to enhance the quality of educational leadership and curriculum design through this project-based fellowship program. And the reason for doing it intra-institutionally is that we figured that by developing a critical mass of faculty members, that we would then create a more conducive environment for change and then a more responsive, relevant curricula across all of our 5 undergraduate programs, which is what we're looking at for the curriculum transformation. So one of the key aspects, I think, for today is really around the top learning objective, which focuses on both individual and collective agency to lead educational change. So when change agency is in programs, it's not often in programs, but when it is, it often tends to focus on individual. So, and I've taught in leadership for about 20 years, and it often focuses on individual leadership. And so we really wanted to intentionally look at the collective nature of both leadership as well as change agency. So it has 3 activities. The first is monthly program seminars. The second is a community of practice. And the third are the projects, which I think I heard Vasaya referring to. It is funded by the University Capacity Development Grant, which we're incredibly blessed by, but that comes to an end at the end of this year. And one can never, in terms of a next cycle, you always have to build on. So we have to think carefully around how we sustain this program without UCTG funding. It's a 12-month fellowship, and we've had 35 fellows last year and 35 fellows this year. So that's how it goes. We have quite a complex theory of change. The purple is the Educational Leadership Fellowship. The green are the Faculty Transformation Workshops. And the blue is the Faculty Student Success Unit. And so in essence, what we look at is the intervention around this program, which has the 3 components to it, looking at developing the program, establishing the collaborative, and articulating the projects, which is what we've done. And the idea is really to build identity and capacity as educational leaders, as well as shift knowledge and skills, and very importantly, shift behavior and praxis, so that we can build, have colleagues in the faculty who are then confident stewards of education, and we can have responsible and accountable educational leadership, ultimately getting to our goal of socially accountable graduates. So this gives us an idea that we had these 2 sort of streams or themes in our program seminars, looking at leadership and change agency, and the second looking at curriculum design. There were a number of tools and techniques that the team, that the fellows were exposed to in terms of practicing in the space. Lots of reflection, because it's really important that we reflect, and we had these wonderful tools that we used of 55-word stories and biopoems to help us kind of articulate the space that we're in. And hopefully you've been able to glance through that as it's been up on the screen. But really that kind of internal shift that happens as you figuring out who you are as a leader. Going forward, the learning collaborative or community of practice is really important around building relationships and networks, and particularly building a trust-based community that supports each other socially, emotionally, intellectually through this. Lots of appreciative inquiry and dialogue skills, and demonstrating effective peer support. So we use tools such as learning circles and storytelling, and they would often use opportunities for sharing our own learnings and good practice. This was very much a space of co-creating and collaborating. So where fellows had expertise in a particular area, we would invite them to teach and present and collaborate in the space. So that was very exciting. The third element of the projects, so the idea is that with all of these fellows contributing to projects, let me get my contributing to projects, that all these projects would then feed into the curriculum transformation process and ultimately lead to a transformed curriculum. So this just gives you an example of one title, but I actually have some further examples. So the essence of what they were obliged to do was ensure that that their project was at minimum at course level, could be at program level or at a year level, and needed to abide by at least one Senate principle. And so these were the Senate principles that emerged from the Curriculum Change Working Group. And then the additional faculty principles. that we've done since then, as well as some faculty decisions in the curriculum transformation workshop that, for those of you familiar with curriculum transformation, SPICES is one of the curriculum frameworks, and we've managed to create an additional FLIP, which is primary care focus, function focus, longitudinal placements, interprofessional learning, and programmatic assessment, in addition to the SPICES model. And so when we reviewed the first cohort, it was very exciting that 33 completed, 1 resigned, and 1 migrated into the second cohort. We had a diverse cohort, so in terms both of persons of color, but also in terms of ranks. And this is quite unusual in the space, is that we really had all the way from clinical educator, lecturer, senior lecturer, all the way up to associate professor, and all roles. So we had clinicians, teachers in basic sciences, conveners, HODs, which was really exciting to be in that space. Quite a representative cohort. So we had all 7 programs represented, and 8 out of the 14 departments were represented. We had all years of study represented. And the clinical component, which we were worried about, was around about equivalent to the preclinical component of fellows. We had 12 monthly sessions for input and 7 community of practice sessions. What emerged was 25 curriculum change projects. More than half were collaborative. Close to half were interprofessional, which was really exciting. And we had asked for them to be at least at course level, but just over half were actually at program level. And very excitingly, again, as would be expected by this participant level, is that actually the projects were also nicely balanced between clinical and preclinical. What was important, and this is something for sustainability going forward, is that half of the fellows received buyouts, which is funding for time replacement that enabled them to attend and to conduct their projects. So I presume we can share the presentations afterwards, so I won't go into detail, but really just these are the 25 projects. And you'll see the black are those that can easily be transferred. Some were absolutely designed to be interprofessional and across multiple programs, but some were initially envisaged across one program, but actually can easily be transferred. So, although the spiraling teaching related to violence as one of our main burdens of disease in South Africa, is that although that was designed by somebody involved in the MPCHV curriculum, in fact, it can easily be transferred into all of the other programs. Similarly, for Indigenous knowledge systems, and then others were designed for interprofessional, such as the Disability Inclusive Development module. So designing an interprofessional module in the undergraduate curricula of the 5 main degree programs. So the reds are then those that were specifically designed for the MPCHB program, the blues for the physio program, and the green for the OT program. And then we had speech language pathology and audiology as well, but their projects are, whilst they were based within their projects, within their discipline, it can easily be transferred into other spaces, such as this one, reflecting as a means of developing knowledge and community engagement. So some really exciting work being done here. And you can see some relates to educational principles. Oh, let me get up to the next one. So what we did was we then mapped the projects between our principals, between Senate and faculty principals, as well as the curriculum transformative strategy for student centricity. And so you can see that they all navigate very nicely into things like looking at core curriculum or graduate attributes or credit load, as well as student experience and well-being. So it was really nice just to see how we are managing to transform, to kind of kickstart the transformed curriculum using these projects. So this is the is the graduating cohort at the end of last year. What's really exciting is that over half of the projects actually started implementation. And because it's only a year program, we hadn't expected them to implement. We'd only expected them to develop and design the curriculum. So that was a really exciting additional spot. Beyond our intended theory of change, we also have seen additional benefits of interprofessional collaboration and relationship building, co-creation, reflexivity, emergence or unearthing of voice, trust and hope, which has been really important to develop educational leader identity as well as shift organizational culture. And I suppose one of the key senses that we got from colleagues was, I didn't think of myself as a leader before, so that was really good. Lessons learned are that we can do collaborative, co-creative, self-directed adult learning when we create space for it. Really important that when we are in those spaces, however, that we do practice what we preach. So us as the facilitators really needed to make sure that we modeled what we were preaching. And so everything that we were teaching, we would practice as well. Or we certainly, that was our intention, and we endeavored to do that. We did need to adapt quite regularly, and so we reflected before and after each session, particularly because of this significant variety in experience and skills. So some were very experienced teachers and some were very novice teachers, but intentionally we put them in the room together so that they could learn from each other and not just ourselves. The other really important thing is that reflections are incredibly powerful for both personal and organizational culture change. The scholarship, so this is a particular scholarship angle, and so particularly encouraging colleagues to view scholarship more than just publishing in peer-reviewed journals. And so Boyer's model of discovery, integration, application we were able to really exercise in that space and demonstrate. Embedding the intervention into organizational governance structures has allowed for sustainability. So we ensured that nominees had support from their HODs and fed back into their design teams or convener committees or wherever in terms of that. Wasn't always successful as successful as we'd hoped, but certainly that we were very intentional about doing that. And that we could actually realize collective agency. We were starting to see as the workshops progressed that fellows were definitely standing up and challenging some of the kind of traditional thinking around curriculum, teaching, learning and assessment. It's not all rosy, and we did have to navigate quite significant skepticism and suspicion and mistrust. Because we carried, it was quite an unstructured approach with collaboration, co-creation, and kind of organic way of doing things, is that that created a kind of degree of uncertainty amongst the fellows themselves, and kind of felt, but by the end the growth was fantastic, but that certainly was challenging for fellows in the early days. And we did have variable support for implementation from departments. So some were great, some not so much. So this particular model is really useful in that we've seen it, this kind of blend of faculty development for both leadership, educational scholarship, and change management, with a focus on curriculum transformation. Has really assisted in that space, but also that this collective agency and leadership and the collaborative, co-creative approach has really started, we've started to see evidence of organizational culture shift, which has been good. So this was our 2023 cohort. And very sadly, Dr. Timo Frith, who's represented here, was one of our colleagues who passed away 2 weeks ago today. yeah, we've just had his funeral. It's been a very hard time for the fellows, but it was an opportunity for us all to share in that space. And then, so this is really kind of the last slide, is to say, so where to from here? So we had agreed to have curriculum transformation work streams, which we had hoped to commission in June. Our budget was cut, and so we're trying to figure out where to scrabble some money from so that we can get the work streams going. But in essence, there are a number of projects. There are a number of other interventions that are happening as we go along that are all already making progress in most of the work stream spaces. So we're really looking forward to really connecting all of those initial projects and now the new projects. It's about another 25 odd projects this year. So that's it. Just to thank the whole team, which I think I posted at the beginning of the session. The whole ELF project team, and obviously all of the fellows, and UCDG for the funding. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Karen, for that really in-depth presentation. I think it was incredibly informative. I see we lost a couple of soldiers along the way. We've only got 9 people left in the webinar. But I think we can open up for any questions and answers if there are any, or just any comments before we end off today's webinar.
Just a quick comment. Thanks so much, Viva, and thanks, Karen. It's great to see an overview of what's happening. I think we don't always know what's going on in different areas, so it was really lovely to see that all put together. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Thanks.
Okay, it doesn't seem like there's anything else. Thank you so much to all the presenters. I really enjoyed today's webinar. There were really some creative and very, very interesting presentations from you all. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Viva. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone.